Germany are in the Rugby World Cup, Andreas, but perhaps Philippe Lahm fancies his chances there too.
Well, surprisingly, perhaps, Huntelaarin is coming off. There's no 5th goal of the season for him this afternoon. And on comes Pukki. Surprised to see Huntelaarin come off, Ian. He hasn't been effective today.
Well, there you go. Not really, but curious to see Teemu Pukki, the man who played so well for HJK Helsinki in the Europa League playoff against Schalke, convinced them that he was a man who could be in their squad. This is his debut, I believe, for Schalke. Played against a Schalke youth team in midweek just to keep his fitness up, because he's ineligible having played in that playoff for Schalke in the Europa League. Well, got a decent reputation.
Yeah, but what a time to make your debut at home to Bayern Munich.
But why not? Score a goal, be a hero.
Munich clearly has faith in him.
And he couldn't do much worse than Huntelaarin, who certainly in the second half had no impact whatsoever.
Charles to say from this 4, 5, 6 Schalke players in the box, but no, it's a poor delivery. Very poor delivery. Farfan does well to win the header, but I think it's going to be easy enough for Badstuber. Yeah. Interesting, he does make a lot of tackles, 108 tackles. Only one Schalke player has made more tackles, which is Papadopoulos this year. So he clearly has a role as a ball winner as well as a creative player as well.
But the thing is that you don't want him winning the ball, using the ball. When he's winning the ball, he's winning it far too deep to be effective.
Nearly came to Fuchs, but he couldn't pull the trigger. Muller was there first, but well won from Matip. Do think he's more effective as centre-back than in midfield, the youngster. Bayern take it quickly. Ribery up against Ushida again. Protects the ball well. Lovely work from Schweinsteiger. Instinctive to Kroos, and then it's worked all the way back. So a couple of subs. Draxler is on, Pukki is on, the youngster. It's a quick-paced match, this one. Can't take your eye off it for a second. Kroos, oh, brilliant work. Tony Kroos got through 3 players. Kroos, Niels Petersen, great work from Furman. Was really aware there, and he had to be.
Yes, anticipated well, didn't he? Like a good sweeper. Knew that through ball was coming for Pedersen. Probably wasn't exactly where Pedersen would have liked it, and Pedersen, for me as well, looked a little bit sluggish.
Yeah, sweepers, we don't see them very often in German football. We used to. Ribery, will he go on his own into the arms of Fährmann?
Now, well, the problem there, as so often with Frank Ribery when he's on this left-hand side, which he prefers to play on, is that he comes in on his right-hand side. That's where the traffic was. Needed probably to stay out on his left and try and cut it back across. There were men in the middle.
Holtby beaten by Schweinsteiger. Schweinsteiger has won that particular battle so far. Farfan. Oh, that's brilliant from Pukki. Show him what he can do, the substitute. Offside, though, against Draxler. Yeah, Draxler was offside. It was a nice touch from Pukki. Eager to prove what he can do. Oh, that was touch and go. Julian Draxler is on. He was the subject of a very interesting legal case when he made his debut. Someone wrote to the local authorities saying that Schalke were employing a child underage, and they were breaking labour law because he played a night match at the age of 16. That case thrown out.
I think his wages probably compensate the fact that he's being used as child labour, Andreas. He probably quite enjoys it, to be honest.
Lewis Holtby, no, he goes down a blind alley, Holtby.
Yes, and should have played the ball over the top towards Pukki.
And that's the result. Pukki was crying out for it there. desperate to make a mark in more senses than one, and it's going to be another substitute. Well, Peterson has scored, but he's going to go off, and David Alaba will come on. Well, how's this going to change their formation?
That's a good question, because there aren't any centre forwards anymore.
No.
I presume that Thomas Müller will play as a centre forward. Indeed, he's been told that's where he's got to go. Alaba will go over onto the right-hand side. Kroos will play through the middle. Will stay as a 4-2-3-1 with Bayern. But Thomas Müller, well, I was going to say Thomas Müller, not really a centre forward. Strange thing to say that about the leading the top scorer at the last World Cup.
Yeah, it just shows what a remarkable performance that was. Top scorer from midfield. Ribery. But look, he's a class act, Thomas Müller. I'm sure he can adapt himself for these last 20 minutes, but nevertheless, no closer, of course. He's left the club. Olic injured. Mario Gomez injured. I wonder if they'll dip into the transfer market over the winter. Toni Kroos. There's options. Alaba's playing quite far forward, and here is Alaba. Alaba, I don't quite know where he's going, but he gets out of it well. Kroos up. Timashuk, it's held. Well, was there a pull on Müller? The Bayern fans and Thomas Müller thought he was held back, and well, Müller, you can see what he thought there. He was sure that he was doing a centre-forward's job there.
Well, he did. He followed in well, didn't he?
What did Hervedez do there? Was there a pull?
Difficult to see, really, wasn't it? A bit messy, that's for sure. Hervedez is saying to Müller that the foul was by Müller.
Two young players. I'm sure they'll have many, many matches against each other over the years. You see Mario Gomez on the bench. Shouldn't be too long out of action. We should see him back next week against Leverkusen, to where he'll presumably play his 100th match.
I have to say, I think that the fact that he's come today to Gelsenkirchen probably suggests that he wasn't far away from being at least fit enough to sit on the bench as a substitute rather than just as a spectator. That's good news for Bayern.
Ribery had a superb game. His left-hand side, Timashuk. But they've got a grip on the match again, but the lead is only 1 goal. 2 other wasted. If you're wondering who was the third Bayern player who scored 3 goals against Schalke, the answer is Hans-Jörg Butt. Don't adjust your TVs. The goalkeeper was on the bench, scored 3 goals. Used to come up and take penalties. Alaba, who's playing in a very advanced position.
Yes, well, we've seen him as an ersatz Arjen Robben a couple of times already this season. Not particularly effective for me, it has to be said. Remember, the man, he's the man, I was going to say man, he's more like a boy, really. Started his Bayern debut in the Champions League as a left-back, but played more advanced for Hoffenheim last season on loan.
Timashuk. If you're wondering what the news is on Robben, during the week, Bayern doctor Hans-Wilhelm Müller-Wohlfahrt said, well, he basically didn't know when he'd be back. Maybe they don't need him. A real chance here for Bayern. Oh, and it's come across. Oh, that was awful defending from Schalke. And the ball came to the foot of Thomas Müller. And while centre-forward or not, he's at 2-0 and surely game over.
Well, Andreas, you wouldn't have missed that. I think it's Papadopoulos who had the easiest of clearances. He has somehow sliced it behind himself to tee up Müller. Look at this, the ball in, there's nothing there. Oh dear. Well, Papadopoulos has been one of Schalke's most impressive performers this season, but there he has not covered himself in glory and couldn't miss.
Well, my observation on that is Papadopoulos is a very one-footed player, right-footed, and it really was designed for a left-footed clearance, but such is his lack of, I suppose, confidence on the left peg, he tried to put his right foot around it with the outside, and well, you saw the result. It was very embarrassing indeed. 2-0. Schalke must get one back quickly. And Fuchs drives it in, cleared by Alaba. It was yeah, very, very poor defending from the Greek teenager. We'll have to learn from that. Pukki commits the foul. Beautifully worked, wasn't it, between Ribery and Alaba. As you can see on the replay, this is what I mean. I think it was designed to be cleared with a left foot, and he put his right foot across. And
even so, Andreas, he really should have cleared that with anything.
Yeah, he wasn't under any pressure. There's no reason that the ball should have just bobbled to Muller. He must have thought Christmas had come early. Thomas Muller, first goal of the season for him. Neuer. He really has had no more than a bit part in this match, Neuer, and that's credit to the Bayern, not just the defence, the whole team. They've defended well as a unit, as a block. Huntelaarin had a couple of chances, but that was really because of a couple of deflections, apart from a little bit of loss of concentration. Bayern extremely impressive this afternoon. Rafinha, Alaba. Oh, it's just a question of keeping concentration, I think. Lam, Ribery. Well, we were talking about that stat, Ian. What was it? 7 saves Neuer's made this season. Has that been added to today? I don't think it has.
Well, I think he might have had one or two. Yeah. One or two at the very most, but certainly not been really extended. Should have been by Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. But Ralph Fairman's the one who's had to move smartly, make a save from a Toni Kroos free kick. It was deflected towards his goal.
Such high expectations for the Schalke fans before the match, who are mingling with a few of them before the long-range shot comes in from Papadopoulos, looking to atone for that error. They really thought perhaps this was afternoon when Bayern were there for the taking. Here we get a good angle. Ribery again did well, but that clearance, why didn't he just hack it out? Well, only Kyriakos Papadopoulos knows that.
He could have even just played it out for a corner with his right foot. I mean, yeah, anything. Bayern get a bit of the rub of the green as it came off Ribery as well, rebounded off his shins towards Papadopoulos, but still, even if he was surprised, he should have cleared it.
At the same time, when you're playing against a side that plays with such pace and accuracy, Bayern has showed this afternoon, nerves set in with a youngster, and I think it was just a case of panic. Uchida. Overhit that. Badstuber looking for a bit of a help. He gets it from Philipp Lahm. Not put under any pressure, Lahm. Plenty of time to clear. The nice thing about Lahm is he's two-footed, as we saw there. He's quite happy on the left foot as well.
Yes, naturally right-footed, actually.
Yeah. Rafinha, we saw him on the right side last year, and now he's on the left side, and he's equally happy on both flanks, really.
Yeah, I think he's actually better at left back, even though he wants to play at right back.
Farfan. Raul. Well, that was a lovely ball. It was a classy pass, but it needs another one. No, that was the wrong decision from...
Yeah, too easily dispossessed by Rafinha, that. We move into the last 10 minutes at the Veltins Arena. It's 2-0 now to Bayern. Schalke have come back from 2 once this season. I would be very amazed if they do it this time, because the second half in particular, the Bayern have been impressive. They certainly have. I said right at the start that for me today would be a test of just how good this Bayern back four is. And to a certain extent, I think they have perhaps been a little more stretched than they have by previous opponents, but even so, they've looked commanding. And I think probably it's more down to the fact that Bayern have been so good that Schalke have been poor. They played really, really well in possession. They've kept the ball superbly, moved it around sharply, and when they've gone forward, they've looked very dangerous indeed.
That's what they're doing now. They have been sharp. It's wide to Toni Kroos. I think Ribery is just about edges man of the match for me. He's been really dangerous, made a couple of goals. We're talking about Neuer hasn't really been tested, but funnily enough, the back four haven't really been tested in as much. No one has really run at them. And that's all credit to Schweinsteiger, this man, and Timashuk, Luis Gustavo, and Thomas Muller when he was playing in midfield. They protected that back four. Timashuk in luminous orange boots.
Yeah, it's always good for a commentator, isn't it? That just shows you the strength and depth, though, that Bayern have got, bringing on the Ukrainian captain.
Good ball from Timashuk. He opened up Alaba there. Was there time for a third? The goals have been flowing this season for Bayern. 16 in their last 4. Borussia Mönchengladbach must be giving themselves a pat on the back. They kept a clean sheet in Munich, no less. So what a great season Mönchengladbach are having. It's interesting, Dortmund, Schalke and Mönchengladbach, the 3 big clubs around this neck of the woods. And it's Mönchengladbach who are lost. What money would you have had on that at the start of the season, I wonder?
Dear. I'll be watching this one from the British Virgin Islands, I should imagine, Andreas, if I had.
Well, I think Schalke, Gelsenkirchen is just as beautiful as the Caribbean this evening.
It's probably not as warm, though.
No, chilly it is, but it's a great part of the world if you love your football. Teemu Pukki couldn't quite work it through to Holtby. It's a chance to give a very warm welcome to our viewers in Finland. They're always keen to contact us. Nice to see a Finnish player. It's quite a rare sight, actually, a Finnish player in the Bundesliga. Farfan.
Of course, they had Sami Hyypiä, who enjoyed that real Indian summer at Leverkusen.
Madika is on for Holtby. The Romanian have to do something very, very magical indeed if he's going to turn this round.
They're not going to turn this round. I'm going to stick my neck out now. Schalke have just been suffocated, really, whenever they've had the possession. Mustn't forget that they had a couple of chances in the first half through Huntelaarin, weren't taken, but Bayern have had their chances too. You remember that glaring miss of Niels Pedersen just at the start of the second half. Should have been 2-0 then. And Bayern have been impressive, and
plenty of time for Toni Kroos. Philip Lamb, there's acres of space. Kroos has got a good shot on him. We saw that at Leverkusen, and it wasn't a bad effort. Screwed wide that time.
Yeah, Toni Kroos for me just seems to be lacking a little bit of confidence. You can almost hear him thinking about going for the shot. Should I? Shouldn't I? And then eventually shoots, and it was again rather half-hearted. For me, the Toni Kroos that was on loan at Leverkusen, well, he just picked that one up, one touch, and had a far crisper strike.
Yeah, player though with a wonderful future, only 21 years old still, Toni Kroos. Scored 10 goals in 43 at Leverkusen from midfield.
Yeah, I think it's just his all-round play at Leverkusen which was so stunning, and I think he probably made a rod for his own back, in the sense that he set the bar so high for himself. Everybody expected him to perform brilliantly. He'd already been talked about as the next wunderkind of German football. Played so well at Leverkusen and hasn't really scaled those heights at Bayern.
Yeah, talking of loan deals, well, Leverkusen wanted to keep him as well, and the answer to that was always going to be no. Talked about Holtbeek going out on loan, Fuchs as well, Uchida, Pukki. Pukki's prepared to come deep, look for the ball. Farfan has never really used his pace this afternoon. Oh, that was lovely from Pukki. Farfan. Well, just from the few minutes we've seen him, he looks like a very interesting player. He's prepared to try something different every time.
Yeah, looks to have a good first touch, which is key. He certainly did very well in the Europa League playoff against Schalke, despite the German side going through against HJK Helsinki.
They needed to score 6, didn't they, in the return leg to do it, though, thanks to 4 from Huntelaarin. I can tell you that hundreds of Schalke fans are leaving the stadium. I guess they just can't bear to see their side go down, and perhaps the side of Manuel Neuer celebrating.
Yes, well, he probably won't be celebrating too much, because I can see here, which is one of the Bayern groups that was so against Neuer's arrival at Bayern, a fact which I find utterly ridiculous, but they're in amongst the travelling support, which is currently celebrating. But Neuer was told by them that they didn't really want any part of him at their club, didn't want him celebrating or throwing his shirt into the crowd. I'm sure there's many a Bayern fan who would love to have Manuel Neuer's shirt.
That's right, I remember those Quan Neuer banners. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Well,
the Bavarian dialect.
Plenty of them were on show here last season, when Neuer played so well, and Schalke beat Bayern.
Bizarre that you don't want the best goalkeeper in the country in your side, but there you go. Handball against Teemu Pukki.
Well, it's just insane, isn't it? It's difficult to understand.
Well, he is Gelsenkirchen through and through. No, that won't change. He's a local lad, born and bred around here. He's a Bayern man now. He said he's got the right to pursue his career. That's what he's done. He's, again, kept a clean sheet by the looks of it. Over 400 minutes now, over 450 minutes of Bundesliga football without conceding a goal, even though he hasn't had much to do, but nevertheless, you have to do it. Philipp Lahm. He'll be delighted, the captain, that his defence has come to Schalke and not conceded. Ribéry. Oh, did I speak too? Oh, lovely from Raul. He tries to do a bit too much. Yeah. Towering figure of Jerome Boateng. He really is a strong guy.
Yeah, I think Raul felt some of that strength too. Not sure whether Boateng trod on the Spaniard's foot, but Raul limping very heavily indeed.
As he was limping in his last match for Real Madrid, I remember he scored a goal even when he was limping. What a way to go out.
But it was Raul getting back on the edge of his own box once again to win the ball back. It's admirable work rate from him, but like I said about Holtbeek, far too deep. If he's having to run back and help out his defence like that, it just shows how dominant Bayern have been.
Neuer, is there time for a last mistake? No, keeps his cool. And as we were talking about earlier before the match, Bayern staff had complete faith in their man, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, saying that he doesn't know anyone who's got such a strong personality as Manuel Neuer. Big words indeed from Rummenigge. Anyway, he's proved that today.
Chris, well, actually, to be honest, he hasn't really had to prove anything, has he? Because, like we said, apart from the very, very first minute when he came out, looked a little bit shaky initially, but then with the ball at his feet, played it rather comfortably, rather well. He hasn't had to do too much.
We're in injury time. Teemu Pukki has a go. No, he certainly put his boot behind that. Plenty of power. But too high from the Ukraine international. Time for a last substitute. Diego Contento, the young left-back for Tony Kroos. Get a rare run out for Contento. Played a fair amount of football last term, but he's only had one substitute appearance so far this season. No doubt that Lamb has that left back spot in his pocket. No time at all for Contento. It's over. It's Schalke 0, Bayern Munich 2, thanks to goals from Peterson and Müller. Another clean sheet for Neuer. There's a bit of a smile to the fans to the right-hand side of the goal, who have been certainly to him. An easy afternoon, Ian, for Neuer, and comfortable at the end for Bayern.
Yes, it was comfortable, wasn't it? It was a very easy 2-0 win. Disappointing that Schalke didn't push them further. As you said, Neuer had to rush out early on, didn't have much to do other than that, and Bayern in cruise control, certainly for most of the second half. Could have had more as well, but the 3 points and back to the top of the table.